So today we're talking about the OTOFIX D1 PRO or D1 Lite, D1 Max, kind of all the same. And if this is a good budget scan tool for the professional tech, let's get into it.
Come on, you
So there's quite a few variations with the D1 series, and I just want to get into the nitty-gritty, the basics of the tool first. So this is a rebranded Autel. It's owned by Autel, the software is Autel, it says Autel all over this scan tool. It says D1 powered by Autel. So this is an Autel product, and the D1 Pro is, I'd say, very comparable to the 906 from Autel. This is almost identical, just that it's orange, which I think is a better color than red, and it's got a few different features, I guess you could say, than the Autel does. It also can use all the same accessories that you could buy for an Autel. So the borescope, the battery tester, the external oscilloscope. All of those can be used on this OTOFIX scan tool. The main differences between the OTOFIX's lineup is they kind of split them into two categories. You have the OTOFIX D1 Lite, and then you have the OTOFIX D1. The Lite is going to be exactly how it sounds. It's the more watered down version on the scan tools. On the D1 Lite and the D1, on both of those tools, you get the 24 basic service functions, which is like your parking brake, disable, enable, oil reset, stuff like that. The differences between the D1 and the D1 Lite, however, is kind of the scanning capabilities. So on the D1, it has an all system scan, so it will scan every module that's in that car. And you can also do live data, you can do bidirectional controls, you can do active tests and special functions, and basically everything that a professional scan tool should have is what you want on a D1. If you buy the D1 Lite, it only comes with basic read and clear of data on certain modules in the car, and then you can only monitor live data and watch graph data. There is no bidirectional controls, and there's no special functions or activations with the D1 Lite from OTOFIX. So if you are a professional mechanic and you need to be able to read data, scan all the modules, do special functions, actuate stuff in the car with the scan tool, you're going to want to stick with the OTOFIX D1. You don't want to get the OTOFIX D1 Lite. So you basically have four variations of the OTOFIX D1 scan tool. You can buy just the D1 or the D1 Lite, which is an 8-inch screen. You can get this one, which is a D1 Pro. This has a 10.1-inch screen. Then they make the D1 Max, which has a 10.4-inch screen, which isn't a big jump. Or you can get the D1 Evo scan, which it's basically the D1 Max, but instead of the dongle, you get a J2534 pass-through VCI, which is wireless, and that gives you the capabilities of being able to program control modules using factory software through that JBox, which is a nice feature. I would argue that it's probably not worth the price, but those are the four main differences. The Evo scan is the top tier, best one you can get, the biggest, also allows you to do a bunch of programming and coding of modules. Then you get the D1 Max and the D1 Pro, which are your mid-tier professional diagnostic scan tools, which allow you to do all bidirectional controls, all special functions, some coding and programming, but you can't program a brand new module in, say, a Tahoe. You need a J2534, so this will not do that. And then you have the D1 Lite, which is basically kind of your DIY scan tool that helps you kind of get in and out of the car, scan codes, clear faults, read data, but that's all it's going to be. But it's also the most affordable. So if you're a DIYer or just someone that likes to tinker around with your car, your friends' cars, the D1 Lite's a good option. But if you're a professional tech that does this day in, day out, I would highly recommend to go with either D1, D1 Pro, D1 Max, or the D1 Evo. So one feature that I do love about this scan tool is, look, it already did it. As soon as you plug in that dongle and it connects to the scan tool, it'll automatically talk to the car and pull up the VIN. So all you do is hit the button and it's in. I don't know if you can see that, but that's all I did was hit the button and it's in. Boom. Click OK. And as you can tell, it looks exactly like an Autel because it is an Autel. So we'll just do an auto scan and see how fast this thing scans. This is all real time, by the way. Done. 100%. Thankfully, my Jeep has no faults in it. Also, the other great thing about this tool is that it supports CAN FD and DOIP, which is the main reason I bought it, because I work on a lot of modern Range Rovers. So you need DOIP to be able to talk to the whole car, scan stuff, do a lot of stuff on those cars. You can't just use a normal scan tool on those anymore. So the main reason I bought this tool is for that purpose. But it also supports CAN FD, so you know, your modern Dodge, Chrysler, Chevy, stuff like that. And it supports AutoAuth for Nissan and FCA vehicles. So now you can get into the secured gateway with FCA and with Nissan, which is great for the price point this is. Right now this is going for $1,000. But if you wait and you just keep your eye out, like I did on Amazon, this tool was on sale for $700, and that's when I bought it. So I paid $700 for a D1 Pro. So deals are out there for these tools. You just gotta keep an eye on them. And where I work, we work on a majority of Range Rovers, but I have used this on multiple vehicle brands, makes, models, Jeeps, Audis, Volkswagens, some Chevys, and this thing works extremely well. It does have its limitations, just like the Autel product of old vehicles. It doesn't work super great on older vehicles. So I would say like 2005 and older, this thing kind of struggles. It can't always communicate. It doesn't always see modules. There are a few other weird quirks I've seen with this tool, but it may be with all Autel tools for all I know, but I have noticed on Land Rover LR3s, for instance, I have noticed that when you go to scan the whole car with this tool, that if the key is only in the on position, it will not read any of the crucial ECMs in the car. So like your powertrain control module, ABS, transmission, everything like that. But as soon as you start the car and leave the car running, then rerun the scan, it will pick up those modules. So I'm not sure if this scan tool is sensitive to voltage or if the dongle is sensitive to voltage and it's not picking up or seeing those networks when the voltage is below 14 volts. But I have noticed that on a couple LR3s, and I've only noticed it on LR3s. So it could be something with their CAN infrastructure. I have no idea. But none of my other scan tools do that. I can scan the whole car with the key in the on position and the car not running. So that is one bug that I have noticed with this. So if you do buy one of these and you run into that issue of the tool isn't scanning all the modules, try starting it and letting it run and scan the modules. See what happens. Maybe it's something that's just on this tool. So if you have an OTOFIX Pro or a D1, let me know if you ran into that same issue before on something else. Future Colin here. I just wanted to mention a few more things about the scan tool that I did not mention in the video while I was recording. One is, another bug that I found with this scan tool is, and I haven't heard this from any of my friends that have Autels, is like when you're doing oil resets, service resets, setting a car into, like, say, the electronic parking brake into service mode. This tool does some weird stuff. It takes a while to connect to the car. Once it does, you know, the service reset, or it puts the parking brake into service mode. But then it wants to shut the car off, reinitialize, start the car up, or turn the car on. Then it wants to read faults, clear faults, and then reinitialize. And it's doing all this extra work after you're just trying to do a simple service reset or put the brakes in service mode. That is one other bug I have found with this, and it's been pretty obvious on almost every car that I've used it on. And that definitely drives me nuts. I know for the Autels it doesn't do that. You know, you want to put the parking brake into service mode, hit service mode, activate, it goes bzzzt, okay, it's in service mode, done. This one, for some reason, I don't know if it's a glitch with the scan tool, if it's something with Autel, if there needs to be a patch, I have no idea. But that is one thing that it does, and it drives me crazy. So now let's get into the nitty-gritty of the scan tool. Would I recommend it for professional tech? And the answer is yes. And to prove that to you, I bought this on Amazon and I didn't remove the screen protector. Just in case I hated this tool, I was going to send it back. But I think it's a pretty damn good tool, honestly. So I'm keeping it. It's proven its worth with me. It does everything I need it to do, and for the reasons that I bought it for, which is just code scanning, data, something that's easier than using the Opus tool or the Cardac or the Blue Box or my Snap-on scanner. But this tool is definitely worth the money. Now, I paid $700 for this. I think this is worth $700. Is it worth $1,000? If you consider the OTOFIX Pro, I think those are going for around $1,300. And this is the same tool, just with a little bit of different casing on it. So at $1,000, I would say it's still worth it. Would I wait and try to get it cheaper? Absolutely. Now that I paid $700 for it, I wouldn't want to find one for $1,000 and go buy it, obviously. But this tool is worth the money. I think probably the OTOFIX D1, the smaller version, is also worth the money. It has all the same capabilities as this one, just in a smaller form factor. And for some techs out there, you guys like smaller form factors. And I think for the D1 Max, which is 0.3 inches bigger than this one for screen size, it's an extra $100. I wouldn't say to buy that one, to be honest, unless that one's on sale for under $1,000. The Ultra, the Evo, whatever they call it, I'm sorry, I don't remember, I'll put it on the screen. I haven't used that tool. I don't have a lot of experience with that tool. I think it's somewhere in the realm of a Altel 919, if I have to guess, or not 919, 909. I can't remember now, but it's in the realm of another Autel tool. It's a higher tier for pro coding and programming. I haven't had a lot of experience with that tool, but I have heard from a few other fellow YouTubers that they weren't happy with that tool. They prefer their top-down Smart over the top-end OTOFIX. But top-down Smart is also more expensive than the top-end OTOFIX. So, you know, there's a lot of arguments to be said there with these tools. But for the D1 Pro, which is the one that I have and that I have used day in, day out for the past couple months or past couple weeks, I don't remember, this tool is awesome. It works great. There are a couple complaints I have with it, though. And the complaint is this. Okay, there is no kickstand on the back of this tool. It doesn't come with a dock. It has nothing to prop it up. So every time you want to put it away, you just set it flat in the drawer or flat on your toolbox. But when you're trying to scan a car or look at live data, you want something that holds it up. So I don't know why. It could be a cost thing. I don't know. But I don't feel like it would have been that much more expensive to integrate a kickstand or give us a dock or something. That's my biggest gripe about this tool. And that's not going to be for all techs. All techs, you know, they like to throw their scan tools in the drawer and they like them to sit flat, but not me. I leave them, the one I use the most, on top of my toolbox. It's always charged, it's always ready to go. So I am fixing that problem. This is version 1, but I have a version 2 that's a little different. But it's a scan tool dock. And I will be selling these on my website, toolcraftorganizers.com. And this will work for your OTOFIX D1, D1 Pro, D1 Lite, D1 Max. This will work for all of them. It'll also work for all the Autel ones that have this wireless VCI, which is like your 906, your 906 Pros, the scan tools like that. So it holds your VCI in there, and then you set this on the dock. And now you have a nice place to put your scan tool on your box. Also too, do not mind the mess, please. I'm trying to fulfill orders and it's kind of hectic right now. Thank you for everybody who's buying stuff from toolcraftorganizers.com. I appreciate you. But anyways, I still have the dock. This thing works great for the D1 Pros, Autel 906, anything similar to this scan tool. But if you don't want just a dock, and you do want something that perches on the steering wheel and has a built-in kickstand, I made it. So it's all integrated into one. You have a built-in kickstand that's held in, boom, with magnets. I didn't even touch that. So it snaps in. Then you have a case that you put over your dongle. I re-engineered this. This is version 1. I'm making version 2, and I think I'm going to make it out of TPU, which is like a rubbery plastic. So it's a little bit more impact resistant. And then I changed it so that this case doesn't go all the way to the top of the dongle. It's only going to go to about right here. That way, some cars, you have kind of a tight access spot and you need to fit this dongle in, and I couldn't get this whole thing in. I had to slip the case off. But this thing is just in with tension fit. So it fits in real snug, pops in, it's held in with magnets, you pop it on, and then you just set it down. And this will also be available on toolcraftorganizers.com. The great thing about this, and what I love about some of the other scan tools, is if you set it on a steering wheel, my arm's not a steering wheel obviously, but if you set it on a steering wheel, it'll hold itself up. That way you can perch it on the steering wheel while you're scanning or doing other stuff on your phone, and it's just sitting there instead of you having to set it on your lap or in the passenger seat. So again, this is another option that'll work on. Right now, all I have is the OTOFIX D1 PRO. I'm going to get a D1 Lite version made, and a 906 already has it. And there's a few other scan tools I'd like to make this for. But anyways, never mind, back to the video. So there you go. I think this is a perfect option for a professional technician out there that wants a sub $1,000 scan tool that can do everything you need on a day-to-day basis on almost any make and model. Gives you minor coding and programming abilities, can do all the basic service functions that you need and more, and it's just a great option, honestly. And it's backed by Autel. It's Autel software, so you can't really go wrong, in my opinion, with Autel. Sure, there's other competitors out there. You got Topped On, you got Launch, you got Autel, Snap-on. You're going to be paying for Snap-on, but for what I have used this for, I have used this scan tool every day for the past couple months, and I haven't really needed to use any of my other scan tools. I've pulled out my Snap-on for a few like older ones, you know, like Land Rover Discovery 2s, and I've pulled out the Blue Box or the Opus for some stuff when I need to do some more intense coding and programming. But other than that, this has been my go-to. It's been sitting on top of my toolbox. It's the only tool I use, and it's my favorite scan tool now. And for the price I paid, which I bought it on Amazon, it was like a, I forgot what they call it, one of those like quick deals, so you have to buy within a certain time frame and you get a discount. And I paid $700 for this. And if you can just keep your eye out on Amazon, you can get this. And another great thing I need to mention too is, unlike Autel, this scan tool you can buy from Amazon, you can buy from AutoFix's website, you can buy from third-party sellers, but they don't make different variants. That meaning, Autel, if you buy an Autel off of Amazon, it is not a US market scan tool, which means that it cannot support CAN-FD. It does not support American warranties or tech service. This does. I've used CAN-FD on this. CAN-FD works. It's supported. It has an American warranty. When you buy these, it comes with 2 years of free updates, which is true. This shows I have 2 years of free updates. One weird thing I did notice when I bought this is it was registered to another person. So I don't know if someone bought this, used it, and returned it to Amazon, or whatever happened there. I don't know. But it works great. CAN-FD works. AutoAuth works. And yeah, go get you one. Anyways, thanks for watching the video. If you have not yet checked out my website, toolcraftorganizers.com, for all your tool organization needs, go check it out. And thanks for watching the video. Until next time, see ya.